New economic data suggests Japan has emerged from its recession, and more voices are calling for Philippine President Aquino to step down. Plus, South Korea's President Park finally gets a prime minister, and clashes continue in Myanmar. For Tuesday, the 17th of February 2015, this is the Asia Brief. Japan's economy expanded at a measly 2.2% compared to an expected 3.7% last quarter. While this is good news, it's also a sign the economy is in a fragile recovery stage. Economists are quick to point out that after two contracting quarters, a single expansion doesn't signify a trend or that the worst is over. Japan's real estate prices remain high, stock prices have also shot up, but the yen has weakened. The result essentially made the rich get richer and provided little benefit for others. In fact, with stagnant wages, the weak yen, and rising prices, some may have actually felt poorer. All this being said, unemployment has fallen to only 3.5%. Japan's Nikkei 225 responded positively, closing near an 8-year high of 18,047, the highest level since July of 2007. 1 Billion Rising is a Filipino and global movement calling for an end to violence against women. It's now added another objective, to press for the resignation of Philippine President Aquino over the controversial police operation that left 44 law enforcement officers dead. Monique Wilson, the 1 Billion Rising Revolution Global Director, told a rally, quote, "How can we change the system if we don't replace those who can't lead our nation well?" End quote. The 1 Billion Rising movement, in its third year, called on Aquino to step down and demand truth and accountability for the slaughter of the police commandos. This latest call comes as some well-connected businessmen and politicians have been rumored to be organizing a coup to remove Aquino from office. With the military pledging allegiance to Aquino, experts say there's little chance a political coup would be successful. The third time does turn out to be the charm for South Korea's President Park Geun-hye, whose latest prime minister nominee was confirmed, albeit along party lines. Won-koo met with initial bipartisan support. However, during his confirmation hearing, serious questions arose about avoiding South Korea's compulsory military service, property speculation, and exerting undue influence on the media. While now has the job as the nation's number 2, most in South Korea don't want him for the job. In a Gallup poll conducted February 10th to February 12th, only 29% approved of Lee's nomination. Likewise, a Real Meter survey between February 11th and February 13th found that only 38.7% of respondents supported the nomination. Critics say Lee's credibility is damaged, and he may have a difficult time in office, at least initially. Fighting between Myanmar's army and ethnic Kokang fighters in a region bordering China has resulted in death tolls climbing in recent weeks and sent tens of thousands scurrying. China says more than 30,000 raced across the border into Yunnan province last week after an uptick in the fighting in Myanmar's northeastern state of Shan. Residents from Myanmar have crossed into China more than 30,000 times since February 9, the press office of Yunnan's Linkang City said in a statement quoted by the Xinhua news agency. It continues, quote, "The Chinese side provided necessary aid and supplies, offering them food, medicine, and quarantine services," end quote. Urging both sides to exercise restraint, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chunying said in Beijing that more fighting will have an impact on the stability of the China-Myanmar border areas and the security on the Chinese side of the border. Hua said China respects Myanmar's territorial integrity and said it will not allow any organization or individual to carry out activities undermining China-Myanmar relations. Myanmar authorities have blamed local Kokang leader Phom Kya-shin for the fighting and called on Beijing to rein in any local officials who might be providing assistance. Unrest flared up in Kokang on February 9th, putting an end to nearly 6 years of relative calm. It dealt a blow to Myanmar's government, which has been trying to end its ethnic minority conflicts. Specific details about the fighting remain difficult to confirm, given its remote location. The Global New Line of Myanmar on Monday reported that 8 of its captured Kokang rebels had died of their wounds while in custody, while Myanmar's military said 47 of its soldiers have been killed and dozens more injured. The Kokang have been joined by the Taang National Liberation Army and the Kachin Independence Army, which have fought government forces both in Shan and in nearby Kachin State. Despite this, military and a handful of ethnic armed groups signed a commitment last Thursday to continue talks with the aim of building a union, but a comprehensive agreement to end civil wars remains out of reach. Keep up with more news from the region by following Asian News Weekly on Facebook and Twitter. You can also send an email to the show with your comments, your questions, and your feedback. Just drop a line to podcast@asiannewsweekly.net. Subscribe to this and other podcasts on our website, asiannewsweekly.net, or in your favorite application like iTunes or Stitcher. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is delivered automatically to you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. Thank you so much for listening today. For the Asia Brief, I'm Steve Miller.